G'day everyone, Dicko here with another kick-ass walkthrough. Has anyone seen K-pop Demon Hunters lately? That is a damn good looking film. Animation, rendering, so good, so refined. I am a little bit jealous actually, because when I look at that film, I see little elements of things that I've wanted to achieve with my own films in the past, even down to the character design in some regard, that got me a little bit sad that I've never been able to really push to that level.
No, I'm serious, man. Look at this. Here's an early concept render that I made in 2020 of Evie for Black Curtain before I changed her costume for the short film. Purple hair, cropped biker jacket with spikes on the shoulders, and a non-realistic rendering style. But with that all said, it is kind of validating to know that I was on the right track.
So I really want to take the opportunity that I have right now. Springtime is upon us in Australia. That means the weather's getting better, moods are getting better, the days are getting longer, which means there's more opportunity to do more in the day. And that means I kind of want to take some of that time to make a new short film. And I want to do it in the most efficient way I can possible, using tools that make the life of an animator a lot easier to create highly polished work. And I want to document as much as I can along the way. So in this video, I want to talk about one element, and that is how do I use the Rokoko smartsuit that I have with me to help me create the bulk of the animations. So the idea is to take motion capture data, retarget it to my own character rigs, and then refine it to be a little bit more stylized.
Okay, with a little direction from my esteemed performance director / 2-year-old daughter, I knocked out quite a few takes, and I gotta say, she worked me like a dog.
Again.
Alright, with the wise direction of my daughter at hand, I now have quite a few clips to work with, as you can see. But I've gone with clip 13 for the one that I'm going to basically stylize the shit out of, using this as a really good reference. But if I want to do a pretty realistic animation, this would look really good. Like you can see the fingers are looking really sweet. It's targeting those motions really well. And yeah, the jump is looking super smooth. Yeah, it looks awesome. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and export this out with the FBX format. And of course, I'm going to use the default rig as well, because I find that the Rokoko default setup is really nice. I actually really like it. So I'm going to go ahead and export that out and get into Blender. So what we're going to do is just drag and drop the FBX, and we need to enable a few things in the settings. So we want to turn on ignore leaf bones, and we want to turn on automatic bone orientation. That's really important because it means the skeleton will look like a skeleton and you won't freak out. All right. So as you can see, everything looks pretty good. We have our T-pose on frame 1, and then the animation plays through after that. Now the T-pose is important in case you have a really different rig to retarget to, but in our case, I'm going to try and avoid that, to be fair. All right, so if we have a look at the full sequence, some parts will have to be cut out, obviously. This little walk here, don't need that. So we're gonna start from around here, retarget to that point there, and probably get this bit here as well. So what can we do to retarget this animation to my personal rig?
I think I have found a way of doing that, and that's by using a custom rig. So I've built a custom rig, and I really want to talk about this rig because I think it's super cool and it makes the retargeting so much easier. So if you've ever used any sort of motion capture on, say, Rigify or AutoRig Pro or any of the other auto riggers out there, you'll know that you'll probably run into some pretty gnarly issues, namely around rotations, things just going haywire. And there's a number of reasons for that, and I really want to discuss how you can solve for those by building a custom rig. Okay, so let's jump into why motion capture doesn't really work for a lot of people when they do it for the first time.
Okay, so let's do a little demonstration of retargeting from Rokoko to a Rigify rig. So I have my Rokoko rig here. I got a Rigify rig here. Let's go ahead and do it. So firstly, I'm going to select my source, which is my root, and my target, which is the Rigify rig. Let's go ahead and build the bone list and see what the first little barrier we have is at the moment. So as you can see, it's tried to find equivalent joints to retarget to, but it hasn't quite matched them right. So what we have to do is actually manually go through every part of the body and sort of find the equivalent FK joint to basically do the retarget to. So first thing off the bat, you'll notice that there's a few things that are a bit inconsistent between the two rigs. So firstly, obviously with a standard Rokoko rig, the spine works in a way you'd expect. Basically up the chain, looking good, looking great. But with Blender, the Rigify rig is a little bit different in that we just basically have our hip joint and we have a chest joint and not much in between. You may think that these controls here will do the trick, but we do have an issue where these controls kind of work in an inverse relationship where they sort of permeate from the middle of the body down to the pelvis, and then this control goes from the upper body to the rest of the body. So that's going to be a little bit hard to find the right retargeting to work with. The other thing is that there are some controls that do match the names, but their function is different. In Rokoko, the hips is basically the root joint, this one here, where see how it's manipulating the whole rig? But in Blender, that is completely different. The hip control is this joint and it's doing a completely different behavior. What we really need to retarget to is from the hips to this joint here, which is the torso. So again, there's some, confusion here if you're doing this for the first time. So we need to retarget to the torso here. The next one is the spine one, and Blender doesn't really have a spine one out of the box to work with. So we kind of have to find the best match or skip it altogether. In this case, I think we have to skip it altogether and go straight to spine two. Spine two is this one here. And again, there's nothing there. So we may need to go to spine three, which is this one. Okay, this is spine three. So this is FK spine 2 in this case. So we're going to go ahead and go to FK2. And you can start to see where these confusions come from when you're doing this for the first time. In this case, we're going to go spine 3 for the chest and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and go through all these different eccentricities before I do the retarget. Okay, so I think I got all the right retargeting elements here, but you can see a few other things going on here as well. Namely, there's some missing parts because Blender doesn't have any particularly equivalent controls to match to with Rigify. So we have to ignore that part of the mocap, unfortunately. So yeah, that's just a concession you have to make, at least with Rigify and its default state. But that being said, I've got all these elements put together. They've all kind of matched, I think. I think that I've chosen the right ones. So I just want to go ahead and save this naming scheme, because that means that if I ever want to use it again with Rigify, I can without having to do all this relinking stuff again. So now it's just a moment of truth. We got to see whether or not this works. And firstly, find out how the retarget looks. And secondly, what kind of transforms it adds to it. All right, so let's give this a shot. Retarget, and we want to do it from the pose, not from the rest pose. So we want to do it because we have to pose out the rig a little bit to straighten out the Rigify. We want to go to current. I'm going to turn off auto scale as well, just for the sake of it. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it looks like it's done it, but let's have a look and see how the mocap works. I'm going to turn on the deformation joints just so you can see what's going on with the Blender one. All right, let's have a go. Moment of truth. Ooh, not bad at all. Did a good job, did a good job. Now this is a really great retarget. So, sometimes you do get a really decent result. It's not perfect. I mean, it's not 1-to-1, but the retarget is pretty close. Now, this is best case scenario, to be fair. Best case scenario in a retarget to get such a clean result. But it does come with a few concessions to be considering. Firstly, you really have to be familiar with both the Rokoko rig and the Rigify rig in this case. So you need to understand what controls are linking to what. That's really important. The next thing to be noting of is whether or not what kind of transforms have been added to the controls. So let's go ahead and have a look. So right now the rotations are pretty decent, but let's have a look now. It did a pretty good job actually. Did a really good job. Really good job. So you can get a pretty good retarget out of Rigify. But I reckon I can get an even better result than this using a custom rig. I reckon I can get a pretty much one-to-one relationship with this without this many offsets. And it's down to one, the posing, the default pose, and the structure of the rig itself. So let's go ahead and investigate.
And my method for this is basically to replicate the complete joint structure of the Rokoko rig to my own custom rig and then build a deform rig underneath that. So what I end up having is a deform rig that is being driven by essentially a duplicate of the Rokoko base rig. And that duplicate base rig from the Rokoko is what will drive the FK system of my animation rig. And then from there on in, I can then build out my IK system. I can build out twist joints. I can build out bendy bone joint, all kinds of stuff that sit underneath that fundamental FK system that is a duplicate from the Rokoko system, and get absolutely banger mocap results, mocap retargeting results, that is. So let's do a little demo and show you why that works.
Okay, so here we have it. This is my custom animation rig designed for mocap and animation at the same time. There are a few things to take notice of. Namely is the pose of the default rest pose in Blender. So in this case, the rest pose matches exactly the rest pose of the Rokoko rig. The other thing is the names of the bones. So the names of all these control bones or control curves are literally identical to the Rokoko rig. So just to show you, if I turn on the Rokoko rig now, you'll see that the names are literally the same. Going up the spine, hips, spine, spine 2, spine 3, the names of the thighs, the names of the fingers, they're all exactly the same. The other final thing that is super important in this case is the bone orientation. The bone orientation within the system itself is identical. So if you look at the orientation of the XYZ going down the joint chains, down the bone chains, they are literally identical across both rigs. So if I open up this one here and turn on axes, you'll see that the orientations are literally identical. Okay, so that means I should get a really clean retarget off the bat. So let's go ahead and give this a go. Let's go ahead and choose my initial source animation, and then let's choose my rig and build the bone list. Boom, straight away, it's all the same. Perfect. Everything aligns absolutely perfectly. The only exception is that I missed a couple of metacarpals here, but that's pretty easy to fix. So that means I'm not missing a single joint, a single bone, nothing is gone missing. So now, the other thing is that the rest pose across both of these two rigs are exactly the same, which means I can set it to rest pose and still get a good retarget. I'm still going to keep auto scale turned off because I don't need to really worry about it, given that they're quite similar in scale. So let's go ahead and do retarget and see what happens. All right, that was pretty damn quick. And as you can see, things are looking pretty good. The only exception is the fingers, which for some reason have got some transforms in there, which need to be removed. So if I go ahead and clear out those, but honestly, they are tracking with the fingers. They actually are tracking quite close. It's just the way that in my case, the custom side of my rig is linking from the fingers to the hand. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove those. Okay, so with those little tweaks sorted out in the hands, let's test out the mocap. And you look at that. In this case, there's absolutely no offsets. There's no difference between the two rigs. They're working perfectly aligned. So check that out. Super clean mocap retargeting. Let's have a look and see how this looks without the Rokoko rig in the way. And you can see it's just looking absolutely spot on with minimal need for editing, at least on the sort of retargeting side of things. On the animation cleanup side of things, we can do plenty. But in terms of having a really solid base to work from, it's pretty much perfect.
Okay, so as you can see, the actual result from the Mocap retargeting is pretty much one-to-one with this system. And what that means is that it's going to spend so much less time digging around trying to fix problems that shouldn't have been there in the first place. So that's why I'm going to go with this method here. Now, of course, when you look at the animation and you try to fix up this animation, you're kind of working with the FK system still. And that is pretty bloody painful. Trying to fix a run cycle when the entire rig is set to FK is absolutely nightmarish, if I were to say anything. It is a pain in the ass to fix up. So we need to figure out a way to retarget the retarget to my IK joint. So basically build a script that can do FK IK snapping across the entire timeline of my animation with a one-to-one result. So what I've done, and this is the only part where I'd say you should really learn how to use AI in this case, and that is with scripting. If you learn how to do scripting just with AI, it makes your life so much better. I'm telling you right now, as an animator and as a rigger, it's so much easier to get jobs done when you have an AI assistant helping you build scripts. So what I've done with this, I've basically used ChatGPT and a Blender programming GPT to help me build out an FK-IK snapping system that works with my rig. And this script, if you want it, can actually be used for your own custom rigs if you build the structure in a similar way. And just like that, we now have a completely animation-friendly rig to do all of our animation fix-ups. How cool is that? It is so nice to be able to finally be able to do FK-IK snapping on my custom rigs. Before then, it would have been absolutely impossible to do this properly without using an auto rigger and then dealing with all the other subsequent problems that come with it. So yeah, it's super nice to have my own FK-IK snapping tool on hand, finally, with my own rigs. So the next thing to do, of course, is to do animation cleanup. And this is really down to your own preference in terms of direction and how you want to stylize that animation. So I really want to push a few things, namely around the way limbs move around toward the camera. I really want to stretch those perspectives and fake that perspective. Stuff like the extremity of the jumps and the run has to be exaggerated further based on my own performance, because my performance here isn't great. I mean, I only had 6 meters to play with in my garage to do a run and jump. And in the case of the short film or this shot, he's probably having to run a lot further and do a bigger jump. So I really want to accentuate that movement that I have based on my own performance, but make it look more stylized and more sort of out of this world. So now it's time to go ahead and do that. Finally, I want to turn it into a step style animation similar to Spider-Verse or similar to my previous film where the animation was done on twos. So we'll do that after the fact. Then finally, once we've done all that animation fix up, we can now add extra flavor to the animation, which includes cloth simulation on the shirt and the pants. We can add extra texturing, that sort of stuff, go through the toon shading process, go through the rendering process, and then sort of finish out this animation. So yeah, with that in mind, let's go ahead and refine the render and get it to its final polished state. So at the end of the process, of course, now it's time to judge the result. Now, I want to get your opinion on how you think things went. I got to say, it was really fun doing it with this method in mind. Now I'm feeling super excited to move on and try and make this into a larger project. I think it's absolutely achievable. The only challenges now will be getting voice actors and music and all sort of stuff in order to do it, because I can't do that, obviously. So yeah. Stick around. I'm going to keep doing more videos like this where I'm sort of going through the motions of creating a short film from scratch. I think it's a little bit more interesting than going through the minutia of more direct tutorials. So please, if you enjoy what you're watching here, please subscribe, and get notified, and stick around for more, because I'm hoping to send through some more videos on this topic of creating short films on this channel. So stick around for that. I really want to try and get more content out here lately. I really want to improve my videos. And if you have any comments on how I can improve and do better, please let me know. If you want to support the channel more, of course, there's Patreon for getting assets and all sort of good stuff. So thank you for watching. I'll catch you later. Have fun.